Hello, my name is Timothy Wilkie. Once again, I'm here today to talk about Barry and Honey Sherman, as I was the person who was improperly identified in the Barry and Honey Sherman Walking Man video that was released by the Toronto Police and that was put on the news by all the mainstream media outlets. And once again, the Barry and Honey Sherman murder anniversary, or sorry, their death anniversary, is happening this month. So if you don't know who I am, again, my name is Tim Wilkie. I was walking in the neighborhood of Old Colony Road on December 13th, 2017, when a cop car was, kind of stalking me, very slowly driving behind me. And that's what you don't see in the Walking Man suspect video. That's what they don't tell you, is that there was a cop car slowly following me, and you don't see the light from this person's headlight of their car. So, just so you know, right? The Toronto Police, they asked whoever thought they knew the suspect's identity, the Toronto Police asked for the public to come forward. If the Toronto Police weren't satisfied with that answer when I came forward to identify myself, then that's their loss, right? They botched the investigation. They likely covered a murder up, and I believe one of their officers may have murdered the Shermans. But regardless of what you think, right? There in murder cases, there's like 20 people that can randomly walk by a murder investigation, all random, having nothing to do with the murder, right? A random passerby. And again, if the Toronto Police are asking the public to come forward and they don't like their answer, then consider that their detective, Susan Gomes, didn't sweep evidence within the first 48 hours. So DNA evidence may have gotten compromised. Remember that the neighbors right across from the Shermans gave up their video footage, or were going to give that video footage up, and the Toronto Police denied them. Right? Remember that Brandon Price said that Barry and Honey Sherman were a murder-suicide. Or were a double, no, Brandon Price said they were a double suicide. He said that there was nothing suspicious. Right? So just go back. Like, why did I come forward? Like, who am I? You're a random person. The media says, who are you? Why should we listen to you? Right? The media just bends the knee, essentially. The media just gives into power. They don't care about any other context. They don't care about journalistic integrity. They don't. Right? They fully give in to the Toronto Police, who are just as incompetent and corrupt. The Toronto Police at this point, they will lie 11 times out of 10, every time. All the Toronto Police do is commit perjury. You see dozens and dozens of articles every year of the Toronto Police committing the most atrocious, heinous crimes. And, if this story got through, then the Toronto Police would, one of them might have been charged with murder. So then we'd have a serious conversation of what's going on in the city, because I don't think it's Barry and Honey Sherman that were murdered by strangulation only. I think other Toronto cops are using strangulation, whether it's drowning someone on a beach, whether it's using a belt. When you look at Sick Kids Foundation, from a forensic pathologist point of view, there were many children who died from trivial injuries that were said to be murder related. So inversely, when you talk about what's going in the court system, some of these detectives could have tipped off to some of these officers, oh yeah, no, strangulation, totally legit method of murder. If the court system can't determine whether a child died from a trivial accident or a trivial injury, and can't determine that for murder, or differentiate that from murder, then it's a perfect plausible weapon. And the Toronto Police can get away with it forensically. Right? So This is why this is the biggest story on the planet, because there's a $35 million bounty for the person who murdered the Shermans. And I didn't believe, or I didn't want to believe that the country that I live in, I'm not a big fan of billionaires. I'm not a capitalist. I want to make a living like everyone else, but I'm not a capitalist. I don't believe in that shit. I look at how the world is going, and, the Toronto police are endemic of that. You want to know why their investigation is so shitty and terrible. It's because they don't want to have any self-responsibility. They don't want to affect their precious little yearly salaries, $100,000 salaries. Because if the Toronto police, they murdered the 12th wealthiest excuse me. The Toronto police may have murdered the 12th wealthiest couple in Canada. Do you know how outrageous that story would be globally? It would only prove that the Toronto police are an international embarrassment. Everything they do, they botch. Right? The Luca Magnotta case, they didn't listen to outside sources from the United States. They say that they have international jurisdiction. They go over to other countries, right? In the case of Bruce McArthur, they get that information from like Sweden or wherever, I don't know. But they get that information pretty quick. Once they finally got the guy, which of course the Toronto police, they let 8 Muslim people die in the village before a white man went missing, and then they got the information, no problem. But in the Luca Magnotta case, they wouldn't listen to outside sources from the United States, and someone got murdered. There you go. Right? The Toronto police are already an international embarrassment. And it would set precedent if someone in the Toronto police got charged with murder. It would pretty much set precedent for all the other crimes going on in the city. Right? At least for rape, we can talk about Andrew Corkill, a Toronto police officer who sexually assaulted a homeless woman and was stalking her. And we talk about Conal Quinn. He raped a nursing student off the university. And then we have Jason Kondo, who sex assaulted people at Toronto Police Headquarters. So when you go up to the highest level of rank and position in the Toronto Police, it shows that they're corrupt from the top, from the bottom, from the bottom, from the top. They are corrupt. They're some of those sick, just disgusting criminals in the city, and the Toronto Police are a white supremacist criminal organization. The Toronto Police must be dismantled. And Barry and Honey Sherman are a perfect example. Right? Barry and Honey Sherman are a perfect example. Tell me, Brandon Price, right, when you said it was a double suicide, 2 weeks after they were murdered, there was a forensic truck rummaging in the sewer. So then why would Barry Sherman murder his wife and then murder himself? Like, wait a minute. Are you saying that he snuck to the sewers and dropped the zip ties into the sewers before or after he killed himself? He killed Honey, he killed himself, but the zip ties that bound both of their wrists and were probably responsible for the ligature neck compression indent on their necks. That's what you're trying to tell me, right? You're trying to tell me Barry and Honey Sherman, they committed, it was a murder-suicide. I think that's bullshit. I think that's completely false. I think all the Toronto Police, it was a cover-up. And you knew it, because you had a forensic truck that was rummaging in the sewers 2 weeks later after they were murdered. So you're telling the media different shit, and the media, like a bunch of simps, they're bowing the knee to power. To the Toronto Police, apparently. But I don't think they have as much prestige as they think they do. I don't think they have as much sway in the city as they will once it gets uncovered. And that's the issue. My name is Timothy Wilkie. I was walking in Old Colony Road on December 13th when a cop car was slowly stalking me. So regardless if that officer was the person that murdered the Shermans, the Toronto police knew that I was in the neighborhood. At least one person did. So then why didn't they bring that up? I spoke with a neighbor, Beverly, I believe her name was, right across from the Shermans, and she said that someone had stolen Honey Sherman's watch, and that the story of the watch was in the news. Right on Kevin Donovan's Q&A page, it was a live Q&A in the comment section, which means he deleted a comment about a watch. So as soon as I went back to the neighborhood and talked to Beverly, I knew that was pretty significant, right? And let's go back to Kevin Donovan, right? The media is allowing a celebrity journalist to have all these stakes in this story. I crashed his book club, right? You want to know who Kevin Donovan is? He's just a television showman. He's a TV showman. That's all he is. This same guy is cracking jokes, about strangulation jokes about burying Honey Sherman in front of a small live audience. And, I take off my COVID mask or whatever, and, I confront this guy, I think it was like a couple months ago. And instantly what he's saying is, excuse me, Tim, are you recording? Are you recording me? Are you recording me right now? And I'm like, dude, relax. I'll put my phone right here on the table, and I'll sit over there in that chair. Okay, we're not recording you, Kevin. No one's being recorded here. Okay, calm down. But look, why are you so shaken up about it? Right? If you're the guy with all the answers, why do you care if you're being recorded? Because you don't want to look stupid. You don't have anything. You're doing little puns and little cracks and whips and jokes about Barry and Honey Sherman being strangled. The case hasn't even been solved yet. Why do you feel so confident? And if you are so confident, then why don't you want to be recorded? You're the guy with all the answers, right? And when I was there, the most telling thing about the whole interaction was that I told them this. I said, unfortunately, Barry and Honey Sherman are dead. But I said, I'm alive, and I'm being affected right now by police. Right? I have people in my neighborhood going to every coffee shop, going to every library, going to every place I am, and spreading false rumors about me and fucking up my job and my reputation and my finances when I haven't committed those crimes. Haven't done that shit. Sorry. Haven't abused or hurt anyone. Not for the 4 years that I've lived in this open air prison from the Toronto police, having blackly dressed undercover cops follow me around and then literally swarm me. I've had 5 people, someone, jet right across from me, and then I turn my back, someone's walking behind me. I turn my head again, someone's cutting in front of me again. I have like 5 people swarming me at a time. These blackly dressed undercover cops with their stupid fucking Apple AirPods, And the funny thing is, they go to these places and they'll say things like, oh, Tim Wilkie, he's mentally ill and we're worried about him. But the funny thing is with these undercover cops, there's no barrier to information. Whatever they say, they can paint you as a tragic figure. They can say you're mentally ill and you're a loser. They can say you're a violent predator. There's no barrier to information from these cops. So, I want to apologize to anyone in my neighborhood that sees me or may perceive me to be aggressive. But I've been harassed for 4 years straight. So I'm fighting every day. So I don't give a fuck what anyone says to me. The only people I want to apologize to is the people in my immediate neighborhood who may just think I'm being a tough guy and, That's not the case. I'm traumatized with my own very long history, and I'm dealing with it the best I can. But as you can see, I'm very tired. But with that being said, um, yeah, the Toronto police, they had the forensic truck in the sewers 2 weeks after the Shermans were murdered. And there was a private investigator named Tom Klatt. Tom Klatt found that there was jewelry in the front driveway of the Shermans. The police said that jewelry was trivial. I don't know the exact words, but they said it was, happenstance, you could say. But then why did why did the Toronto Police's own law firm, HHR, why did they ask the Brian Greenspan team for the evidence? Well, what evidence did they take? Did they take the jewelry in the driveway that was just circumstantial? Did they take Honey Sherman's Rolex watch? I don't know. Was the watch already in the police's possession? Was the watch the thing that was stolen from an officer that got docked in pay in 2017 as a plainclothes officer that works in a divisional police department, Toronto Police Department, close to the area? Right? None of it makes sense. So as a part of being, as a part of, the Sherman anniversary being so close, I'm here to tell you that I was in the neighborhood around that time, 8 years ago. Right? The media is going to shut you out, and they're only going to listen to power. That's all they care about. They don't care about journalistic integrity. They don't care about the truth and democracy and journalism. That's all just such a fucking lie. If you're a person of color, you can be subjected to violence because you're no one in white society. The same corruption that the Toronto police have is the same white supremacy that's in the news. It's the same white supremacy. If you have no money and no power as a person of color, the news media, CBC, CTV News, CP24, Global News, all these news channels, which I've called, by the way. I chained myself to the Bell Media building, and you'll see that picture floating online. Tim Wilkie, Sherman Walking Man. You'll see the picture. I got kicked out of CBC a bunch of times. I've called these people. I've got no call back. If you're a person of color in Canada, you have to understand that, the shitty American white culture has totally invaded our politics. And if you're a person of color, the news media will silence you, and in effect, they will let you be murdered. Or they'll put you on a crash course into a political vacuum that you'll never exit out of. Your reputation, your finances, it'll all be destroyed. Because the news media does not care about any person of color without any money or power. They do not care. They'll watch you die. Just like they watched Raheem White. They watched his whole life. After he died, Toronto police made up evidence. I talked to Raheem White's mother. I have all the details. They did not take, a belt that they said Raheem White killed himself with. They did not take that as evidence. It was still hanging on the tree when I got there. So, again, all white society in Canada, if you're right wing, left wing, fake left wing, rich, poor, all these white people, the whole system is built on white supremacy. And that's the same reason why these officers get suspended with pay with $100,000. They never unplug from the criminal organization. That $100,000 they get paid with suspension, they can keep paying into that illegal industry. When people of color go to prison, it fucks up our entire lives. And a lot of us may never recover if we don't get outright murdered in prison. Once we get out, we can never financially recover. We're traumatized. will never be readjusted or be rehabilitated. Those criminal cops, they won't go to prison, but yet that $100,000 salary will keep feeding into that illegal industry of white supremacy. The same white supremacy in this city of Toronto that says a pedophile lawyer, a white man, does not have his name unredacted. And not only that, this fucking white man pedophile lawyer does not get disbarred as a lawyer from being a lawyer. Right? The Toronto police say Umar Zamir, a very timid, very shy guy. Undercover cops, they tried to jump him in the parking lot of Yonge and Dundas Square, on the underground parking lot. One of the most timid, shy guys. He tried to flee with his family in his car, with his kids and his pregnant wife, and these goofy-ass fucking cops said that he was a savage murderer. Said that he was a vicious murderer. So now you know, if anyone in the community tries to do something brave and heroic, the Toronto police are going to demonize that person of color as completely the opposite. Because once again, the Toronto police are fucking disgusting. They're some of the most disgusting criminals on the planet. And I hope it comes to light when they say who murdered the Shermans. Right, but if you need to know, my name is Tim Wilkie, and I filed a civil lawsuit against the Toronto police. Right, if any of my claims hold true, it's going to be civil lawsuit 2.0. Right, and the city of Toronto, you better fucking recognize that. Because people of color, our conventional morality is not working. It's not keeping us protected because these systems of oppression are not keeping us protected. In the winter months, I'm already losing my color. But, as part of my genetics, I'm a completely different skin tone in the summer months. Right? But I need you to know, if you're half Chinese, not white enough. Not in this society. You think this is a black issue? It's not. It's not. Black people are being brutalized at least 2 times the rate of white people. And that's by the estimates of the Toronto police, which cannot be trusted in any form or fashion because they're fucking liars and all they do is commit perjury in court and under oath. Right? Other independent nonprofit organizations have estimated probably a lot higher based on what I've heard from other activists. So that's what you need to know. If you're a person of color, if you're half white, you're not white enough. And if you're someone like me, they're going to say that you're Aboriginal or something. Right? Brandon Price, he said that the suspect either was wearing a headdress. Right? So what does that mean? What does that mean, right? A headdress? So if you can look at my hair, right, it had that shape in the Sherman suspect video. My hair is what Brandon Price said was a headdress. Do they mean Native Aboriginal headdress? Do they mean Sikh head wrap? Do they mean Muslim turban? What do they mean? Kind of seems fucking racist, actually. Right? When I'm in the video, I'm wearing my black coat. I'm wearing my 3 hoodies. I came forward. What do you have to say? Right? These people are going to say, who are you? You have no power. Why should we trust your word? I'm an individual. I'm the victim. Right? I'm a victim. I don't act like a victim, but I know I am. Because you put my image on the news. You put my image and likeness on the news. So I know I'm a murder victim. And in that sense, my experience is my legitimacy. I was there. These goofy-ass journalists like Kevin Donovan weren't. Kevin Donovan and these police officers think they're bigger than the case. Kevin Donovan thinks he's bigger than the person in his story. That's the person that, they're patronizing and gaslighting. If you're a person of color, you're going to be thrown into a political vacuum that you can never escape from, or you'll be subjected to violence and murdered, and your story will never get out there. This is why we have to fight. This is why the Toronto police must be dismantled, and people of color must fight white supremacy directly. My name is Timothy Wilkie, And right now I'm being harassed by everyone in my neighborhood. Mostly white people, mostly white supremacists from a far right-wing group who are cyber hacking my phone. Because every time I get a new number, I'm not going back into those old YouTube accounts because I can't. Right? When I get a new number, my Google account is already maxed out. They said I used the number too many times and I can't make a new account and I can't get back into the old account. So I'm being hacked and my phone is all fucked up. But this is what I got to go through. I'm being attacked on all sides right now, man. I'm being attacked from police, from citizens. I'm being attacked from everybody, lawyers, law firms. When you go into the financial district, you go into the path, you hear what people have been saying for the last 4 years. These goofy ass lawyers think they know something about me. But, what they're going to find out is none of these people in power, not lawyers, not doctors, not journalists, not police officers, not undercover cops, none of these goofy fucking right-wing white supremacists, none of these fucking white people know what the fuck they're talking about. And they need to know that. That's all I got to say. It's the Sherman's 8th anniversary. And I'm just uploading another video just so you know. Thank you so much and have a great day.